It is impossible to count the number of victims and losses of the Second World War. But time passed and it was possible to discover what was considered to be missing for many years. Is there something interesting from that time that you can find in the Sahara Desert? What is hidden under the thick layer of bog on the wide stretches of modern Russia? How dangerous can those findings be? In the quicksand of the most ruthless desert, scientists have found the aviation equivalent of Tutankhamun's tomb. This is how historians call the American Second World War fighter Kitty Hawk P-40, discovered in the Sahara 70 years after its disappearance. Besides the damage from hitting the ground, the plane seemed perfectly preserved. The product of Curtiss Cobares carries the reputation of a quite sturdy machine for a reason. In June 1942, Lieutenant Dennis Copping was assigned to transport the damaged aircraft of the 260th Squadron from one Air Force base in Egypt to another. During the operation, he and his plane went missing, and now after so many years, the loss was discovered. However, the pilot was not found inside. By the things found near Kitty Hawk, it was clear that the pilot had not died in the crash. The poor fellow used his parachute to build a temporary camp. Obviously, he waited for someone to rescue him, but unfortunately it was hopeless. This discovery was also perfectly preserved from the times of war. I'm not talking about an aircraft, but a pilot. This is about Boris Lazarev, a sergeant from the 760th Composite Air Regiment and Hunchback, a nickname that was given to the British fighter aircraft Hawker Hurricane by the Soviet soldiers. In 1943, Lazarev was shot down by the German fighter ace Rudolf Müller. Military historian Yuri Rybin found information in the archives that proves that Müller shot down 2 Soviet aircrafts in the territory of modern Karelia the same day. Hurricane dropped down into the swamp. The aircraft, with the pilot remains inside, was lifted up only 55 years after the accident. Boggy ground, petrol and motor oil did not let the dead body decay. It looked as if it was mummified. Aviator glasses and a self-made knife with the inscription, "To my friend Boris in the second year of the war," were found in the cockpit. Sergeant Lazarev was buried at the Memorial Military Cemetery with due honors. For several years, the search party, Yuri Gagarin, has been following the same goal: to find out the names of the fighters missing in action during World War II and bury them. Waist-deep in mud and bog water, the guys contributed to the country's history. They have already found plenty of things from the times of the Great Patriotic War, and this time they discovered an L-300 motorcycle in the woods. This is the first Soviet large lot motorcycle. They were very popular in the pre-war times, but most of them were sent to the troops during the war. Here you can see the pictures of lifting the unique finding. And these cars, on contrary, avoided military service. A whole bunch of cars hidden under the ground were discovered in France. At the very beginning of the war, the locals hid them in the underground quarry to avoid having them captured by German troops. But then the cars were left forgotten, so they were there all this time. Now most of them are too fragile for transportation. Here is another discovery revealed by the diggers from Yuri Gagarin's search party. By the way, you can find the link to their YouTube channel in the description, so you can watch the entire clip. This time the guys found a whole storehouse of weapons in a swamp. The first thing they pulled out from the dirt was a Royal rifle. It was the Russian 3-line rifle Mosin Nagant, or Mosinka. It was widely used until the end of the 1950s. Actually, it was one of the main Red Army weapons. Next things the guys discovered were shells from a Soviet 45mm cannon. In the hands of experienced commanders, the anti-tank 45mm caliber cannon posed a serious threat to the armored vehicles of enemies. They also stumbled across a rather dangerous discovery: German 50mm mortar bombs in a traditional drop shape, with a shank and 8 fin blades, and even the red paint it was painted with was partially preserved. Of course, most of the German mines become inexplosive after more than 60 years in the ground, but you never know about this for sure, especially when it comes to such a treacherous discovery like the German mine Tellermine Mi-35. It was widely used by the Wehrmacht and Germany's allies during the Second World War. The anti-tank mine was designed to disable the enemy's wheeled or caterpillar vehicles, and it did a great job. The incredible 30-ton discovery. Lifting a tank of war times from the river bottom is a breathtaking show. especially if it's a T-34 model, the most famous Soviet tank and one of the most recognizable symbols of the Second World War. This machine showed absolute supremacy in regards to passing ability and maneuverability, and in many ways determined the outcome of war. The tank was discovered during the exploration works on the Don River in 2016. The searchers have also found sunken pontoons of the bridge in the place of sinking. It indicates that the combat vehicle went down during the ferry, as it is stated in the major version. The Medal for Bravery was held in particular respect among the frontline soldiers, as it was awarded only for personal courage displayed in battle. Believe it or not, but one fighter was awarded with this medal 6 times. The Order of the Red Star was also awarded for great tribute to the defense of the Soviet Union. In the middle, it has a picture of a Red Army soldier in a greatcoat and spiked helmet with a rifle. It is a pure luck to run into such a discovery. Who are those guys who left these honorable awards in the ground? Having a number of this honorary award, you can even trace back who it belonged to and when it was handed over. Comrades from the Czech Republic were also enchanted with their catch, and they have a reason for it. They fished out Schmeisser, the submachine gun MP40. This automatic rifle was operated by the Wehrmacht during the Second World War. Also, it personifies the image of a German soldier in Soviet movies. It is shown in almost all 3D shooters about the Second World War. This weapon does not require any presentation. It seems that literally the entire German army was armed with MP40. However, the aftermath of the war haunts us not only through discovered guns, but also through shells, frightening with their size and power. For example, a ton-weight bomb was found in Belarus during the slum-dwelling demolition. It was a highly explosive fragmentation bomb produced in Germany, weighing 1,000 kilograms or 2,200 pounds, 60% of which were explosive. Such a discovery caused a real chaos in Frankfurt. 70,000 people had to leave their homes. It was the largest evacuation of the population ever organized. It was triggered by a British bomb weighing 3,700 pounds or 1,700 kilograms, discovered during the construction works. This high-powered bomb designed in the UK during the war was called the Blockbuster. The term blockbuster was originally a name coined by the press and referred to a bomb which had enough explosive power to destroy an entire street or large building through the effects of blast in conjunction with incendiary bombs. Another legacy of the Second World War, the masts of the sunken U.S. cargo vessel, Richard Montgomery, sticking out from the water, strikes even more terror into people. On August 20th, 1944, Richard Montgomery ran upon the sands at the mouth of the Thames near Sheerness in England. The weight of the ship, chock full loaded with explosives, was too big for its hull. As a result, the ship broke in half and sank. To this day, Richard Montgomery stays still in shallows of the Firth in about 2 miles from Sheerness. You can still see the masts of the ship above the water. Buoys float next to the warning signs with the inscription on them, "Danger, Unexploded." The vessel still has more than 9,000 bombs, including 286 gigantic 2,000-pound blockbusters, 4,439 1,000-pound bombs, 1,925 500-pound bombs, and 2,815 cluster bombs. In general, the vessel has more than 1,400 tons of TNT. The dangerous place, located in the middle of one of the busiest shipping routes in the UK, is circled with a 1-mile restricted area and monitored 24 hours a day by Port Medway. In spite of the fact that more than 70 years have passed, the vessel broken in half is still the largest and most dangerous time bomb. However, not all things left from military actions are so hard to find. Sometimes you don't even have to look for them. Just like in this case. A tank from the Second World War time and a bunch of weapons were found at the villa of a 78-year-old German. The Panther tank, manufactured in 1943, was discovered by policemen in a villa in the suburbs of Kiel. It is worth noting that the combat vehicle was fully operational. Moreover, the pensioner kept Flak, an 88mm air defense gun, also known as 88. However, it is even more surprising that a tank weighing 97,000 pounds, or 44 tons, could stay unnoticed for so long. But later it has emerged that even the mayor of the city was aware of it. I'm not surprised by this finding at all. The owner drove it in 1978 during a heavy snowfall. You know, someone likes old locomotives and some people like tanks. There's nothing wrong with it. The head of the city expressed his opinion in defense of the pensioner. I hope you liked this video, and thank you all for watching.